would get a second-round pick for Justin Fields?
Definitely.
Definitely.
I think they might get a 1.
Really?
I do, yeah.
And if you trade Justin Fields to Atlanta, you could get the 8th pick overall.
These takes did not age well. Bears quarterback Justin Fields was traded to the Steelers for a bag of chips, not even the name brand Hot Cheetos, but the generic cheap brand Chester's. The big question is, why did nobody want Justin Fields? Why did teams like the Raiders, the Vikings, and the Denver Broncos decide not to trade for the former first-round pick? And what's to come in the NFL draft?
I think Washington, of the two, would be more likely to at least listen.
It seems like we now have a much clearer picture. We're gonna break all this down. Like and subscribe for more content from me, Wi-Fi Willie. Another report that did not age well is the report by Steeler Nation and several insiders that the Steelers were not interested in acquiring Justin Fields or bringing any of the top quarterbacks in free agency. They have since acquired Justin Fields via trade and signed the former Denver Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson in free agency. Russell Wilson is already getting acclimated to Pittsburgh, or as he says, da Burg, as he had his introductory press conference.
Pittsburgh barbershop with my guy Joe. Let's go. Getting cleaned up.
What's up, Steeler Nation? Just signed, baby. Fired up to wear the black and gold. Here we go.
I think we know the new slogan already. It's just going to be a little more chill.
Because country, let's ride.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Personally, my wife and I were saying we want him to do Steel Got It. But the most hilarious thing that happened in Russell Wilson's press conference is when he was asked about Kenny Pickett and how he talked to Kenny Pickett after he was signed by the Steelers.
In terms of Kenny, as soon as I made the decision to come here, I texted Kenny and got to talk to him a little bit and just tell him, hey, every day we go out there, let's be the best version of ourselves and try to make this team better.
That also did not age well, as Kenny Pickett, right after that press conference, was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles away from the Pittsburgh Steelers. The former first-round pick was traded for more than Justin Fields, we'll get into that in a bit, but for a third-round pick from the Philadelphia Eagles, plus 2 7th-round picks in 2025, the Steelers had to throw in a 4th-round pick to make it happen. It seems like Pickett, according to Tom Pelissero, was upset about the fact that there was not going to be really a quarterback competition. Mike Tomlin told Kenny Pickett that Wilson would get the first-team reps, and this guy really has been on the outs with the Steelers since last year. Last year, he had to clap back against reports, which now seem true, that he refused to be the backup quarterback, so much so that the Steelers had to put him on the injury report.
Reports out there that I feel like we're attacking, my character and how I am as a person, not even getting into a player standpoint of it. There was no talk of me being a backup quarterback this week in terms of being a 2. Kind of crazy what people will write and put out there.
Watch out when drafting a quarterback in the first round. The Steelers and the Bears are now 2 examples of it just not working out. And what stings more is the Bears traded up for Justin Fields in 2021. They swapped first-round picks, added in a first-round pick as well, and then threw in a 4th and a 5th rounder. And now they have traded away Justin Fields for nothing but a 6th-round pick that could become a 4th round. That's it. And it was crazy because Justin Fields' market was supposedly hot. We showed those reports at the top of the video from Adam Schefter and different NFL insiders. And even more recently, there were reports that the Raiders were interested in him. NFL insider Tony Pauline also reported in February that the Raiders were interested in Fields. But nothing ever happened, and slowly as free agency started and all these other quarterbacks started going elsewhere other than Fields, we learned that his market was drying up and he was looked at as a backup.
And it doesn't look like there's a starting job out there at this particular moment. And so the teams that are looking at him would be looking at him as a backup.
So out of nowhere, the former first-round pick and the starter for the Bears last year is now a backup and viewed as a backup. He joins a horrible 2021 quarterback draft class, which includes Trey Lance, who was traded for a 4th-round pick, Mac Jones, who was traded for a 6th-round pick, and now Justin Fields traded for a 6th-round pick, and Zach Wilson, who nobody wants to trade for at all whatsoever. Perhaps his attitude last year when things were going rough in Chicago is why the reason people are sour on the guy. Keep in mind, he threw his coaching staff under the bus when he was struggling.
What do you think was causing you to think so much, maybe think too much?
Could be coaching, I think. But, at the end of the day, it makes it, they're doing their job when they're giving me, what to look at.
Even if there are problems with your offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy, who was the Bears offensive coordinator and is now the Raiders offensive coordinator, was fired from the Chicago Bears last year. But even if your coordinator is the problem, you always have to take the high road as a quarterback, and you can't start pointing fingers. You always have to point the finger at yourself. Zach Wilson ran into this same trouble when he refused to take responsibility for a tough loss in which the Jets defense held up their end of the bargain.
Guys are only able to score 3 points. The defense only lets up 3 points. I mean, do you feel like you let the defense down at all?
No.
Justin Fields did say goodbye to Chicago on his way out. Can't say thank you enough to the city of Chicago for taking me in and embracing me. Another reason why it's shocking more teams did not take a chance on Fields is because he would have only cost $3.23 million guaranteed. The Steelers already paid half of his $6 million contract for 2024. So the guy is pretty much on a cheap one-year deal. Yes, there's a fifth-year option, but you don't have to do that. And this guy's contract is cheaper than many backup quarterbacks out there today. The only way that this 6th round pick turns into a 4th round pick for the Bears is if he plays 50% of the snaps this year, pretty much if Russell Wilson gets hurt. Mike Tomlin reached out to Russell Wilson after they traded for Justin Fields and said that Russell Wilson is going to be the starter. He let him know that, he committed to the quarterback, so that's cool that there was some transparency there, and it looks like the Steelers are going to be working with Fields in the background while Russell Wilson is starting this year. Could be a smart plan, since Arthur Smith, the former Atlanta Falcons head coach, is their offensive coordinator, and this guy loves to use a mobile quarterback. We saw him do it with Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee and Marcus Mariota in Atlanta. Russell Wilson obviously had to go on social media like he loves to do and post a picture of himself shaking Justin Fields' hand saying, "Let's get it. QB room about to be fire." Let's see if Justin Fields will get some good mentorship from Mr. Unlimited. Reports are now coming out that the Chicago Bears are going to obviously take Caleb Williams with the #1 overall pick. So Chicago Bears fans, get a look at your brand new quarterback. The man has some interesting fashion here. But the painted nails and the fashion aside, the guy is ranked as a generational talent at the quarterback position. And he's going to have some weapons out there already with DJ Moore at wide receiver. And the Bears recently stole the Chargers wide receiver Keenan Allen for nothing but a 4th round pick. Damn. The Bears have also signed running back DeAndre Swift, who was previously on the Eagles before being drafted by the Detroit Lions. So with the Bears obviously taking Caleb Williams, what are the Commanders going to do at 2? What are the Patriots going to do at 3? And how could any of these teams, especially my favorite team, the Las Vegas Raiders, jump ahead in the draft and find their franchise quarterback? You got NFL Network analyst Daniel Jeremiah saying the only team in the top 3 that would likely trade back is none other than the Washington Commanders.
But I would think Washington, of the two, would be more likely to at least listen because of what they need on that roster and where they are. And when you have Cliff Kingsbury, he could say, hey, you know what? I can make it work with, whether it's McCarthy, whether it's Bo Nix or Pennick.
The key thing here is Daniel Jeremiah believes that the New England Patriots are going to take their franchise quarterback at pick #3. More recently, the Minnesota Vikings made a trade with the Houston Texans to get another first-round pick in the 2024 draft. A lot of people believe they are trading their second-round pick and their future second-round pick in order to get an additional first-round pick so they can trade up and grab their franchise quarterback, especially now that Kirk Cousins is officially with the Atlanta Falcons. The Raiders recently signed Gardner Minshew to a 2-year contract worth $25 million, but they still could draft a quarterback to compete with the guy and maybe have him study behind him. But the Minnesota Vikings are definitely going to be in their way, as they currently have the 11th overall pick. And now they have the 23rd overall pick, allowing them to potentially trade up with the Washington Commanders. However, on the bright side, we know the Atlanta Falcons have their franchise quarterback now, the Tennessee Titans seem content with Will Levis, and the Chargers and the Arizona Cardinals are locked in with both of their quarterbacks. The Chargers cannot get out of Justin Herbert's contract even if they wanted to fully rebuild and blow the thing up, and obviously why would you want to get out of Justin Herbert's contract? And the Arizona Cardinals are locked in with Kyler Murray. More guarantees became official just recently, making certain that the former #1 overall pick is going to be locked in with Arizona for sure this year and next year. So if any of these teams, like the Denver Broncos who still need a quarterback, the Minnesota Vikings who still need a quarterback, if these teams want to trade up, your only shot is to try to convince the Washington Commanders they might take a quarterback anyway, or try your luck with the Arizona Cardinals or the LA Chargers. Which team do you believe is going to trade up in the NFL draft next, and what team do you think should have taken a chance on Justin Fields? Like this video if you have not yet, and subscribe to this channel for more NFL content from me, Wi-Fi Willie. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.